For those just starting out, to those who built their reputation. In the detail industry, navigating the course is a daily grind. This is Play-by-Play, with industry professionals tackling topics and offering tips to help improve your game plan. Now, here's your play-by-play.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
But this is her first formal appearance, and dude, I think she's going to bring a lot of heat to the show. I think she's going to bring it.
Oh man, and if you thought Chris was motivated, just wait till you meet Sarah. She is absolutely driven, and so we're going to catch up with that team. But before we get into talking about that, I got to announce that we've got a wonderful bit of hack today.
Yeah? What you got for us?
So it's actually a hack, and I don't mean a trick. I mean someone doing something that couldn't be more hacky.
Like a true hack.
Like a true hack.
Like a detailing hack.
A detailer.
Wait,
hack.
like a detailer that's a hack.
Yes, absolutely. And you definitely don't want to make the list.
No.
So guys, make sure you don't do what this guy's doing.
Well, if it's the one that I think you're talking about, this guy's going to get ripped.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're going to use a pressure washer for a lot of things, but I don't necessarily advise it for everything. But you'll have to stick around to the end to find out what we're talking about.
Well, that's awesome. And, guys, don't forget that we can see your comments now. So drop us a comment on here, and if we miss you and if we don't actually get to reference it then, at the end of the show, we're going to give everybody a shout-out that drops us a comment. It's really cool. It shows us who all is engaged. We heard a cool story yesterday. Billy Smith sent us over a message and said that he was talking, "What's up, Joe LaPon? We knew you was going to be here, buddy." And so we had a cool story from Billy Smith come in. And he had met another detailer in Ohio, talking about how he was this rock star of detailing, but he said he had seen him on Play-by-Play a few times.
Gosh, yeah.
And so listen, guys, it's really funny to hear when, because here we are, we're kind of in our room by ourselves, and you don't really know who all's watching. But when we hear these stories, I follow all your podcasts, or it's really cool. It's a cool moment. So it's fun to see how many people are actually watching this thing, and it kind of keeps us going. So
it's so humbling. I mean, it just to think that somebody's actually that listens to every episode. And,
right. Right. It's cool. It's cool.
It's great.
But listen, and then I saw Desmond drop in here. He's always a faithful, a loyal follower. So I don't think he remembers you though.
I don't think he remembers. Well, that's what Veronica said. But I did notice that he's trying to get a group together in his area and down in Jacksonville to just hang out and get into some shenanigans. So
that's
any
awesome.
Detailers that are out there, get up with Desmond Monster Gibbs if you want to have a good time.
Yeah, he's a good time for sure. We'll have to hang out with him again. But listen, before we get to all the meat and potatoes of the show, I want to take you down a little bit of education lane, okay? I want to talk a little bit about, last week we talked about hiring employees, and we're really speaking to a very specific group of detailers. And now all this is transferable even if you're already established and you have employees. Of course, you can just reproduce this. But we're talking specifically to guys that maybe have no employees,
sure,
or one, and they're wanting to get from 1 to 2 to 3, and that's what we spoke to last week. Mm-hmm. Well, this week we want to say, okay, once you start hiring employees, how do you retain those?
That's right.
Everybody's biggest complaint is, well, I hire these guys and I'm afraid to teach them, and they're going to take my business, or blah, blah, blah. And we went over the details on that last night, or last time. But what we want to talk about is once you get this team rocking and rolling, how do you keep them? Right?
That's right, absolutely. And there's not an easy, there's not a one size fits all solution. You got to kind of think outside the box. And
you do.
You got to know who your employees are. But.
You do. And one thing the first thing that I like to start with, and this really just helps build the morale. And again, this can start with one. You got the one employee. And that's the vision. You need to have a clear vision of what your company's going to do, and then they need to understand that and feel their impact in that. So when I was hiring my first few employees, I wanted them to understand that, sitting here buffing this boat was not what we were going to do forever.
Right.
I had big dreams, and it included them in it. And so showing them that vision allowed them to kind of imagine themselves out of that role and into the next role, which obviously gives us all drive. We can't just sit around and think this is, when we had that moment, this is what I'm going to do the whole rest of my life. Like, it's not very motivating.
Well, sir, you don't have to convince me, because I actually was in that exact position when I got this job. I mean, come on. It wasn't just, hey, we're going to, you're going to be selling some software. It literally was like, we're going to be building this thing, and it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be exciting to be a part of it. And boy, were you right.
And listen, it's not always easy, so like you probably had times where, had you not seen that, it would have been time to go.
Oh, sure.
Like, okay, this is, because this stuff isn't easy, and neither is detailing. And you're going to have those cars or those boats or whatever that you feel like you're never going to get done with, or the unhappy customers that's going to drive you and your employees crazy. But if they have a vision that says, okay, this is not what I've got to do this for now. I've got to do it for now. But in the next year, 2, 3, 4, there's a much larger goal and a much larger vision. And if they understand that, then they're more likely to stay.
That's right. You got to sell them on it, too. Yep. I mean, sell them your vision.
That's right. And another thing is, you got to understand. So now we're talking about, okay, I've got an employee. Well, what am I competing? Who am I competing with to keep that employee? So you're competing with Walmart and with the steel mills in our area, or with the shipyard, or
with the government.
With the government,
during
right?
COVID, yeah.
And you have to understand that, and you have to be able to position yourself to do things that they can't do for that employee. And so, like, of course, we're well known for the events that we do here at EZM, but these didn't start with when I had 35 or however many employees. This started when I had 1 and 2 and 3.
Right.
And we did things like the booze cruise that we still do.
You don't think Walmart does a booze cruise?
Walmart can't do a booze cruise. We're going to be like a booze ship or something. And so these are things that we can do. So when we're talking about, a guy that's got 1 employee or 2 employees, find a weekend in the year and go do something special, whether it's go-kart racing or paintballing or
tubing down a river.
So
much fun.
It is fun, right?
Yeah.
And these are things that people look forward to doing, because it's out of the work zone, and you're building that, you're meshing that relationship, and it goes so much deeper than just the work environment.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you build a team that really looks at each other like, like it's
like family.
That's
well,
what
we're together about as much as you are with your family.
Absolutely.
If not more.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we're not always getting along, and everybody's not going to be hunky-dory. What is it that I always mess up? Roses and rainbows.
Rainbow sunshine and butterflies, I think is what you're saying.
But, listen, to be able to start these things, and this is what I want you to understand, is you don't have to wait till you're this huge team to do these things.
That's right.
You start with just the 1 or the 2, and you take your buddy and your wife and them, and you involve them in whatever that is you're doing, and make a plan for it that day, and take them, and then all the expenses on you, and go enjoy it. And that stuff right there helps retain, because their competition cannot do that.
Right, absolutely. And that's not, so that's a big part of it, doing stuff like that, but you also got to come at them with a little bit extra too. You need some benefits, right?
Yeah.
So,
and look, this is something that doesn't start with 1 or 2. This is a little bit deeper once you get in, because it's really hard for a small business to understand how to offer benefits. And we're just now getting into it ourselves.
Sure.
This year we were happy to bring on a health insurance. And we're actually in the middle of signing on a 401k. So these are things that we're doing, but it took us years to get to.
Absolutely.
But to work toward that, and for them to understand that's what you're working towards. Here's our goal. This is our future, and it's not going to be like this forever.
Right.
You're working for a small business that's building and understands the value in those things.
Absolutely. No, and benefits are extremely important, but that doesn't have to be the main focus. Like you said, there's other ways to incentivize your crew, and that's some of the ways that you also do that.
There's multiple ways that we do it, but one of the things that I think that we're most known for is the profit share. And again, this can start with some, with just 1 or 2 employees. And it's, the main thing that I have to preface this conversation with is that you have to understand your expenses and your books.
Absolutely.
They've got to be organized enough to know if you're making money or not. So when we talk about profit sharing, and this can be easily convoluted, but we're talking about the net profits of the company and how much money did that company make per month, and that's what we do. So what we do is we share a percentage of that profit each month, and it's cut evenly throughout the company for as a check for anybody that works for that company. And so what it does is it allows that employee to understand that, hey, the better that this company does, the better I do, and it's not just caught up in an hourly wage or a salary.
That's right.
It can be, there is no cap. There is no ceiling to it. The more money the company makes, the more money everybody makes.
What happens when somebody might screw up and you guys have to do a redo? How does that work?
Well, so it's a cost to the company, so it comes out of that.
Yeah.
You know, and so like any cost to the company that's over what budget is, it just takes off the bottom line. So you're affected by that.
So you think if there's one group that maybe made a mistake, you think the other group will, the other employees will let them forget about that?
No, and it happens. So, but here's the beauty of it. It's like, and so Easy In is a retail store and detail shop, and so sometimes the retail is killing it in there, and detail is slowed down. But detail gets the benefit from that. But right now, detail, I mean, this is our game. Yeah. We're fixing to put the bread in, and so retail gets the benefits. So it's really it's a company thing that everybody affects each other. And another thing that I wanted to mention is, we talk about ceiling, and we talk about ceiling of money. We need to talk about the ceiling of like expertise or skills. And this is another thing that I'm big on is there is no cap to what you can do here at Easy In or Detail Bookie or Bayshore. There is no, if you have learned enough to run this company, then you will be running this company. There is no like, okay, you're going to be the manager and that's it. Like, I want to take your talents to the next level, wherever they may be, and surround you with the things that you need to make that happen. And that's what they need to understand as well.
Yeah, man. And it's not just lip service, guys. I mean, literally, the opportunities are there, but it does take you to step up and actually go above and beyond.
Oh, it does.
It is what it is. But also, if you don't do that, I mean, in any aspect of life, you're not gonna
and it shows up like we're not. This all sounds great. But and it does get bought in, but they got to understand. At first, it's a sacrifice because it is a small business, and we weren't established as some of these other companies that we're competing with. So we do these things to distinguish us apart from the other companies. But this is stuff that you can implement right now.
Absolutely.
Like a detailer right now, just hire my first employee, my second employee. Go ahead and put these things in place. They're cheap now. It's cheap to take the guys down to the
strip club.
To the strip club.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, right off set here, we have our fan club, and I'm surprised. I'm very upset. My mom's not here.
I know. Yeah. That would have been a good time to get them together.
It would have. But yeah. So the strip club, or the boat, or the tube. We do a tube and strip. It's so easy. And I'm sure there's things in your area. That you could take them to do that they would enjoy, car shows, stuff that they know. And look, take care of it. Do not, pay for it. Pay for it, okay? I promise you take care of that and let them go enjoy themselves with you and have fun, and that money will come back 1,000 times over, and, some of those employee woes won't be so bad.
No, without a doubt, man. It's definitely the way to go about it.
Yeah, and I'm loving this conversation that we have. We're going to dig in even deeper next week. I don't know what it's going to be about, maybe growing even larger, but this is good stuff, and this helps, this helps detailers that are watching this show because we know where you're at. We talk to you every day, and all we want to do is provide value. So, with that being said, you want to bring on our guest?
Oh, man, let's do it. So today, as Dustin mentioned, we have Chris and
Miss Sarah.
Miss Sarah, I'm so sorry. I almost blanked there, from So Fresh and So Clean.
Clean.
That's right. And we're going to get them on here in just a sec. There we go.
What's up?
All right, Chris.
Wake up, Chris.
Tighten up.
Wake up. What's going on,
man?
Y'all busy around the shop today?
Or something, I believe, and then we got a third detail coming in after that.
Man, y'all are always slammed. It's our time of year, spring coming on. Our shop's livening up. It's like a light switch was flipped about 2 weeks ago, and dude, it just, I mean, we weren't slow, but it's not like it is now, and the schedule's just filling.
Look, winter's crazy here.
It is. But before we get into detailing, look, this is our Power Couple series, so we're going to have to get a little more intimate than that. Y'all aren't going to get off that easy. So we're going to ask you some questions. There you go.
That's intimacy right there.
Anyways, listen, not that intimate. But no, we want to talk a little bit about y'all personally outside of detailing. So the question I have is, I had heard from a little birdie, Miss Jessica, that you guys had met offline, and that's how you all started dating, or online, I'm sorry. That's how y'all started dating. Why don't y'all tell us that story?
you want to tell them? You want me to tell them?
You can tell them.
Yeah, so when I first moved here to Florida, I was trying to find somebody. I didn't know anybody, so I was on like Plenty of Fish and these dating apps and whatnot. And most of the people I met were crazy, absolutely insane. But I was like, there has to be someone normal on here. And so I waited it out, and then we met, and we hit it off right from there. Like, we went bowling on our first date and went out to dinner. And we were actually with another couple who met on Plenty of Fish that was on their 1-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And we were on the same lane with them bowling. And and we just hit it off, and like I think I moved in like 2 weeks later.
Oh, okay, so you moved in with her. I got you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Because
I was working.
I'm not jotting that one down.
I was working in Naples, but I lived in Fort Myers, so it was like a 20-30 minute drive every day to and from, just to drive back there the next morning. So I was like, hey, this just kind of makes more sense. And she was like, yeah, I'm with it. So it just worked out.
That's awesome.
What a mistake that was.
Well, I got one of those mistakes around the house too.
No, that's awesome. I've also tried the dating sites, and you're right, man. It's a mess out there. But I'm glad that I should probably switch. The one I'm trying to date on right now is OnlyFans, and I'm not seeming to land
it's a one-sided relationship.
It's very one-sided, you know.
Well, I was going to say, instead of Grindr, try Plenty of Fish. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry about your luck, Ryan.
Yeah, we almost made out.
Totally just kidding.
Bro, that's great.
But seriously.
Gotcha.
You should try it.
No, I definitely did try that too. I just decided to tap out of the online dating. It seemed to be more trouble than it was worth.
So you guys, y'all are married now for 4 years. Sons?
About 4 years.
About 4 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, we're looking for advice, and I think that they've probably already steered you in the right direction there. But we were just trying to find some advice, what we should give Ryan to kind of find his one. You know, he's bouncing around like a pinball over here, and we need to land him. I mean, by himself, of course.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty. Pinball is a one-person game, and that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Advice for Ryan?
I don't know, honestly. I mean,
she's out there.
Yeah. I feel like when you're looking, you never find it. And
that's exactly right.
When you're not looking, people just randomly pop up, and it's like, how is this? Like, you know, that's my experience personally, but I feel like the internet with online dating kind of like changed the way people think about dating. And that's like, you don't have to leave your bedroom or your living room. You can sit there and just doop text, and you know, so convenient. So it's, you know, it seems good, but you find some weird people on there for sure.
Oh, you do. I met Melanie. She was my waitress at a little local pub that I used to hang out at or have lunch at all the time. And, you know, it's the unexpected. Like, you know, wasn't looking at all. I was working around the clock, and that just happened to be my spot that I would go to for lunch every day. And it just kind of took off from there. Really, she was driving me crazy. You know, I wouldn't date her or nothing. She'll tell you I wouldn't. She had short hair, and I liked long hair.
Nice.
She's probably watching, and she's like going, ripping the baby off the wall. Anyways, no, I'm glad I did. I'm glad she talked.
She was the reason you kept going and hanging out there.
She was absolutely the reason I kept going and hanging out there. So
that's all. Yep. Now I know. So you guys been together for 4 years, Sarah. You've been doing accounting for the business for 6 years, right?
The whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, before you started kind of full time there, was accounting something that you were doing, full time, I guess?
No, I actually went to my first year of college for accounting. I went to like a top business school in Boston, but realized that that's not what I wanted to do, and switched it up and went to college for teaching. So I was teaching special ed, and I went to get my master's in special ed and then my behavior analysis certification. So I was working with children with autism and behavioral disabilities for 15 plus years.
Wow.
Full time, and doing part time with the business for 5 years.
Yeah, and I think accounting is definitely love or hate relationship. I mean, it's definitely numbers, and I can imagine a business school. They were taking a super deep dive into that, and and I'm glad you brought up teaching. One of our employees here, the front office manager, Miss Chelsea, hopefully she's watching this. She just graduated with her teaching degree, and so we're trying really hard to keep her on staff here and her not to go chase her teaching dreams. So I'm hoping she's watching this and looking at how happy you are as running the show for a detail shop, and maybe she'll just hang around here for a little bit longer.
And it's so definitely consistent that you're going to find people having degrees and doing something completely opposite of what their degree is in.
Absolutely.
And it was a weird time for teaching too.
Yeah, with COVID and stuff.
But and it transfers right into running a business. I mean, these things that you learn is just you're still teaching people, employees, teaching customers. Still, all of these things you pick and choose. So I was in engineering, and and so like I still have things that I learned along the way that I use in business every day. But. It's just I'm just not drawing and stamping plans as was the intention. But so how long have you actually been working for So Fresh and So Clean?
Clean.
There you go.
I've been full time since last January, so a little over a year. But the whole time that we've been in business, I've done
kept track of the books and all that kind of stuff. I did a lot up until when she came. Like, I'd schedule all the jobs, confirm them the night before, send pictures after, post on social media, like just hustling around the clock nonstop. And it's a lot, it was a lot. And so she also had her own behavior therapy business she ran prior. So she had experience in business, and she's a lot smarter than I am. So, I was like, hey, it would probably be a win-win if like you worked for the business, like we can write our own destiny. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, as it just continues to climb, she's making more than what she was making on a salary pension for the school district for 10 to 15 years. So
I did all the numbers before coming on full-time and leaving my career behind, and just me being with the business full-time and being able to manage and take on more customers, and that aspect, we kind of just figured like what we would have, what growth percentage we would need to cover, everything for me.
And it was like an extra coding a week. Right. We're like,
of course.
We could easily do that. And now we've grown to have employees, and like we do marketing things, and it's just been like all natural. It's been a blessing.
With that, with her coming on, that allowed you to do that. That allows you to expand, and her personality being as as structured, and I can it allows you to go out. You ought to grow this thing together, and I think it's an absolutely perfect combination. And we've been following you guys for a long time, and the growth is just incredible. I mean, y'all are killing it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Everybody that walks in here says, "Oh, you need another shop, a second shop, a bigger place," because it's always completely full.
One of our neighbors has a man cave two doors down, and he just came in the back door, and he's like, "Hey, I just swung my door open and almost smacked that BMW out there." Coded, and I was like, "Yeah, all right. Let me." We got work and stuff, and we only get so many spots here, so it's like. We got cars all around the building and stuff.
Yeah, that's the way we are here. We just expanded again, and like instantly. I mean, you guys, we're already full with vehicles still in waiting.
Yeah, three boats. There's 2 cars stacked up. Another boat out there.
And I think the bigger your shop gets, you always want more room too. Like it's just like it gives you a little taste of what like a major big shop would feel like. I mean, I feel like this is a big one, but. We're already kind of busted at the seams, and we're still finishing just this edition, and we're already busting at the seams. So.
Oh man, it's like never.
Yeah, that was like week 1 for us. All of a sudden, this dealership account came in week 1 when we opened this, and there was like 9+ cars all over the place, and we're like, okay, well, we didn't even really move in yet, but we've grown out. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now,
and we get a lot of compliments too from all of our customers with Sarah, like running the show, with like talking to all the customers and scheduling jobs. Customers tell me all the time, they're like, "Oh, Sarah, is that your wife?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh my God, she's so great, so responsive," and like you know, I was always like that as well. Like, boom, that's my first priority. But like, again, she can do all that, and it allows me to do more, focus on other things. So it's just a good combination.
Yeah, and you know, customer service, that's one thing that we like harp on. That's how I built every business that I've ever been a part of, and just going that extra mile, treating people as if you want to be treated, and like, you know, communicating to them, talking to them, let them know what's going on. It's huge. And then, you know, I'm sure that that they just absolutely love it.
Yeah,
that's what I tell my guys. I'm like, hey, look, you know, do the job, introduce yourself, be friendly,
Yes.
Tell them what you're gonna do, show them what you did, and just a little explanation. And like that blows people away and goes the long, you know, like I get people that'll pull $20-$50 out as a tip and be like, you're like, they trust you, like it develops that relationship. And you know, it's like, for me, it's natural, you know, but like people like that. It's more of an experience for them than like, hey, this guy just detailed my car. Like, oh, he brought me into his nice shop. He showed me that, you know what I mean? Like just little things. They go a long way. Like
opening their door, helping them out. Like these are the little things. Like our shop is great at it. Like, this is what I love. I love to take pride. I love to see our staff doing it. And you know, we have a rule where they're within 20 feet of you. You stop what you're doing and you address that customer. And so it doesn't matter if you're head down polishing or whatever. If someone gets within that feet, you know, then you stop what you're doing. Like and you ask them if they need help, if you can, you know, show them around, whatever. And it just makes for a great experience.
Yeah, like I gave a customer yesterday, he picked up his C8 that we coated. I gave him some ceramic spray and was like, hey, here, you can, you know,
kinda
dress it up every now and then if you want. I gave a guy a drying towel and a bucket and a wash mitt, like just stuff I got laying around. And they're like, wow, like you really go the extra mile. And I'm like, sure, yeah. Like, you know, it's small
just
stuff.
the little things, man. It's the little things. And that's what makes it fun. That's the part that I enjoy, you know, and I love that part, to be that guy, because now you're their best friend. Like you've got a customer for life. You know? Yeah,
we did a Mercedes 2 days ago that was absolutely, oh my God, it was horrible. And there were salt stains everywhere. And like, not only did we do a good job, but then like Napa coated her seats with like a 3 to 6 month coating. And, you know, she's like, wow, she's like, I'm going to write a phenomenal review for you. I'm going to tell all my friends about you. Like, you know, and I like going that little extra mile to like, God, and then God forbid if there's something that's off or that's not 100%, you can kind of fall back on that and not use it as an excuse, but like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly, dude, I swear I feel like I'm talking to myself here. That's exactly what you do. You go the extra mile, and then that way if there is something here along the way, you know, they're not triggered by, like, you know, they're in such a great mood and everything's going smooth and you've done a little extra, so those little things just tend to not be an issue. You know,
they give you a little extra room.
Yeah, they do. I know you're going to take care of them either way, but at least you're not, you know, it's not a combative situation. It's you know, I hate to bring this up, but you know, maybe they missed a little gas cap area or something. You know, it's simple stuff. So,
real quickly, just to let you guys know, there's a customer walking in who I'm going to address real quick at the door. I'll be right back in 1 second.
Do your thing. Do your thing. No worries. No worries.
Now that allows me to speak to you. Now, in addition, you're still
Chris has gotten his spotlight time. It's nice.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Your time to shine.
Yeah, we love it. We love it.
So tell me about the home watching that you also do in addition to what's going on here.
Yeah, we actually came through the detailing business. A customer that Chris did some detailing work for. He owned a home watch business, or he still owns a home watch business, and he, you know, some of his customers wanted their cars detailed prior to returning, and Chris would take care of those. And then we had Hurricane Irma come through, and he's an older gentleman, and putting up so many shutters and preparing all the homes, you know, for a hurricane, he just got so burnt out. He was like, listen, from here, I know I cannot handle that many customers. Like, do you know anybody that would want to take on like half of my clientele base, like in certain areas or whatever? And so there's a lot of snowbirds in Florida that come down for the winter to the nice warm water and then go back to their other homes. But so while they're back in their other homes, they want somebody to look over their home and all that. And he said, you know, do you know anybody that would want to do that? And Chris was like, you know what, like, we were early on in this business. You know, we weren't very busy during the summer because a lot of people leave. So that was our slow time. And it's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So that's our slower time here because it's hot as anything. Here, so people don't want to be here. And then that's the time where home watch picks up because they're gone, right?
So you guys literally, so that they leave, and then you guys just kind of maintain the home, or whatever it may need.
Yeah, make sure everything's good. Like the AC's still running. Like there's no leaks, bugs, everything. If they need home cleaning, plumbing, whatever. Manage that. If they're doing reno.
Awesome! What a great business idea.
I mean,
so if they're doing a lot of people do reno while they're gone for those 6 months too. So we'll, keep them updated on how that's going or whatever.
Deal with the subs, I guess.
So, just taking care of it, making sure everything's good. And it came about through the detailing business, really.
Wow, that's awesome.
That wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great.
That's cool. Yeah. What a cool business, So I have a question now that Chris is back and you guys are together. So you guys have 3 mobile units. You have the shop that's filled up. What all services do you guys offer? Y'all do PPF and some other stuff, or what all are you doing now?
Yeah, so we trained for PPF and tint in the summer, so we've been busting them out. Sarah actually does the tint. She's probably better at tint than I am, because I'm so busy with the bigger jobs like coatings and things, or airplanes or whatever we might have that's like priority. Yeah. So she has more time to be here in the shop, like practicing or just trying these things. So I don't ever get the time to practice. And so it's, still, and I'm very, like, my patience ain't the greatest. So like those little finicky type things like PPF and that can be a bit challenging. But yeah, we do tint, PPF. We offer hand washing, mini details, a full detail, paint correction, water spot removal, coatings, trim restoration. We do Dr. Color Chip touch-up paint. Nice. And we do aviation, marine. We just coated 3 boats in the past week, I believe.
Yep.
So we pretty much RVs, fifth wheels, motorcycles. We do everything. Man, I kind of wanted to learn everything like one by one over time, master washing and detailing, and then buffing, and then boats. And because, like you go from doing cars to boats. Boat people are about their boats, and if you don't know the terminology and like where to clean and what, you can end up in. I've had like 2 problems before where the customer was unhappy, and like, it's just
it's gonna happen. Yeah.
So I just wanted to like fully learn everything, and that's why I go to all these classes, and like you can never learn enough. I mean, and now we're able to just do everything as far as every service that we offer.
We started in the marine detailing. We were predominantly known for that, and you're right. I mean, it's a different world, and they're bigger jobs. They look. It's a mindset. When you get a hold of a big boat, and especially the ones when you first start out, you're getting all the ones that are just trashed and stuff. But marine detailing, I mean, it's been great for us. We're now about 50-50 auto and marine, and of course we did some aviation and all very similar to you guys. Wanted to learn it all and do it all, and back down where we stopped offering our mobile services. We were on the road doing really large boats, and I brought everybody back in house in the shop. That was one of the reasons for the shop renovation, and just glad to be off the road. But I mean, you guys are absolutely killing it. We love to follow y'all.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and y'all do so much. While you were gone, we were talking about the home watching business. I mean, y'all are some legit hustlers. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But how do y'all stay on top of that? How do you manage all that's going on?
Me.
Yeah. So like I started the home watch business and was doing both at the same time when this business the detailing business wasn't as big as it is. Mm-hmm. And then over the past 2 years, it's just continued to get bigger and bigger. And so I think it was 2 years ago, I was like, I just stopped doing the home checks and was like, Sarah, like, you got to do that because I don't have time. And so she just took it over and just, does that on her own. Occasionally she might have a friend help her out or whatnot, depending on how busy we are here. But it's definitely we seem to make it happen somehow where we work like a normal workday hours for the most part. Might be doing some like invoicing or computer stuff at nighttime, but then we still get to hang out with our family and our kids after school and play with them and like take them to sports and do all that. So we seem to manage somehow, but we're definitely pretty busy. We're on the go a lot.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people don't understand that you can define those times. Like you really can, and you're talking to a person that really would work 24/7 if I could, but you can define those times and stick to it as close to it as you can, and people will respect that. Customers, once they understand that, hey, you can expect me from 8 to 5 or 9 to whatever your hours are, and after that, it's going to be the next day.
Yeah, you talked about when you stopped doing weekends, that business picked up.
Yeah, it grew. Yeah, we stopped doing Saturdays, and then our week business just grew. And
I want to grow there myself. Like, so the first 4 years, I've worked 7 days a week.
I did too.
Pushing just nonstop, and it's finally I'm starting to be able to like sit back and see it's paid off. And not that I want to work less, but I'd like to just grind it out Monday to Friday, have the weekends off. Sunday I do take off. However, occasionally we might meet someone over here to pick up a car, something, little thing. But I would like to also, like years ago when I trained with Rennie Doyle, he was like, I'm going to see to it that you're not working weekends like 6 months from now.
Absolutely.
And like you said, some of those guys work 7 to 3, Monday to Friday. That's it. And they seem to even do better.
It's like, our shop grew. I mean, it literally grew when we stopped taking Saturdays, and for whatever reason, we became more profitable. We were doing more during the week, and it was unbelievable. Same thing happened when we came off the road. We came off the road six months ago, and our numbers have grown. And I was really concerned about that, because that was a big portion of our business was marine detailing out. Especially this time of year, and we were doing very large vessels, but it's been great having everybody in shop. So, kind of circling back to the relationship side of things, we always talk about some of the bad stuff that, like the arguing and all that, but what are some of like a good memory or a good, thing that's happened to you guys after working together? Like, is there anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, for me, winning that trophy like at Southern Retailers, like for us both, that was the first event I think she went to. And so like she kind of started acclimating herself into these events and detailing industry, and I kind of thought that was cool, and like we got to experience that together. And I kind of like dedicated my speech for her for all the help she's getting, and so that was special for me. She kind of has her own moment that she thinks of, which
I just remember the day that we were closing on the shop, and it never happens that we are free at the same time in the same part of town. And it just so happened I was doing home checks and he was finishing a mobile detail in the same area, and he finished, I finished, and we were like, oh, we don't have to be to the signing for another like hour and a half, 2 hours. And so we said, why don't we meet, right around the corner, have lunch. We had some drinks. Just celebrating like that, that next step was happening right then.
Awesome.
So
we had lunch together, got to do some day drinking. It was kind of fun. We don't get to do stuff like that. We're married via text.
So that's similar to my wife. She runs a fitness business, and I run Easy In, of course. And so, but we have the same story. Like during closing on this business 6 or 7 years ago, whenever it was, it's the anniversary day. I just don't know if it's 6 or 7. Is like today, by the way.
Oh, happy anniversary!
Thank you. And the closing of our home. So we never stopped, but this forced us to stop. So the same thing. I don't think I've ever been to a closing sober. Like we go all out. We go have a big lunch. We have some beers and some drinks, and it's just a fun time to go in and have that moment. So that's cool. That's hilarious that y'all had that same experience.
You guys could be brothers, I'm telling you.
Right. He's got such a cooler business name, man. Like, how did I mess up? Like, Easy In. What the hell is that?
Some fresh and some clean.
What does it stand for?
Dustin can pass as my bigger brother.
What's it stand for? It's an acronym for another business that I owned. But so it's boring if I tell you the story. But everybody else, I just tell them it's easy to get in and it's easy to get out.
I like that. That's catchy, though.
Yeah, it was an acronym, and like it really made no sense to anybody but me. I was driving down the road, and I was like, I got to name this business, and I was like, you know what? Let's call it Easy In.
So now I know you guys, you worked out of your house for 5 years before you got the shop, right?
Well, we bought our house 2 years ago, and we converted the garage. Well, we bought our house 2.5 years ago, and converted the garage to a shop with lighting, AC, all that stuff. So before that, he was strictly mobile, and then we had that on our house.
Like prior to the shop, I would say for last winter or like winter into summer, I was trying to get this account with Ferrari, and I knew that they probably want you to have a shop. And so I and summer was coming, and I was like, okay, how can I get out of the sun? Yep. And so I had a AC unit put in the garage. We, did the floor. I decorated it, everything, and it worked. I mean, customers liked it. It was personal. Even though they were coming to my house, like my kids were there, like it was nice, and they liked that. And we didn't seem to have any problems until we started stacking like 6 cars up in the street. And then the parking authority people were like, oh, you can't park on the street. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't park on the street? I live here. I own this. Right. And she's like, well, you can't. And I'm like, okay. So then they started showing up every day. And of course, the last time she came, I got a customer pulling out, one pulling in, 3 cars out front, one being decaled out front. And I was like, this lady had to come at the worst time. Wow. But then like she just disappeared and they just never came back. It was weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you find yourself working over that 9 to 5 or, kind of structure?
Yeah. You're in the middle of the night.
I'd be ceramic coating cars at like 11 o'clock at night in the garage.
Gotcha. Okay. So it was, now that you got your shop, it's easier to separate the home work life a little bit easier.
Yeah. But, just like any business owner, I still find myself here like longer than I would normally be somewhere else, cleaning, checking everything. Like, even though it's the guy's responsibilities to stock their truck, as the owner, I still have to oversee that and make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. And, and so I put in those extra efforts and hours, and, I don't mind it because
it's not work. That part's not work. That's like therapy to me. Like to get here before everyone or to stay afterwards. That's like my time, and that is not work to me.
Well, I'm so anal. Like, I like the shop to be immaculate at all times. Like, my guys will tell you, I air compress the floor like 30 times a day. I probably waste an hour and a half a day cleaning the floor. Every time you pull a car in and out, it leaves like a little dirt trail or rocks, and like I can't live with that. Crazy. I got to stop, wipe the floor. Like, I'm just crazy with that.
Dude, when I was running this shop, we used to take everything out every day. We would take everything out and we'd power wash the floors. We would like top to bottom, and then everything would go back in. I've had to, now that Matt's running the shop, and we don't have the same values on cleanliness of shop. We're not on the same page. So like last week, I had spent 2 days down there like doing a Dustin Jackson deep clean on this shop, and then they got the message like, hey, this you got to tighten up around here. But
was that before or after the Rupes presentation too?
The what?
The Rupes. I know you had that video where they all got, the shop got new polishers. Was it before or after the cleaning?
It was after that, the cleaning. Yeah, I think that's what started it. So. But so curious to know. These are my employee. Struggles. You're trying to get everybody on the same page at all the times, and I think there's over 35 of us now. It's pile of them. Wow. I know you guys have employees. What are some of the obstacles that y'all have dealt with, together, or how do y'all handle it?
I don't know. You should probably go first.
I mean, we've come across a lot of obstacles with hiring, especially, with the world as it is right now. It's just a real struggle. But I mean, it's hard work, and not everybody is
built for it,
right? Sure. And at a certain point they realize like this is tough, and it's just the communication aspect, making sure everybody come to us if there's a struggle. Don't let it build up. We'll do what we can, but we can only do so much, and we can only do what we know is a struggle. So
that's right. And, every situation is different, too. Like, there's no right or wrong answer. I was talking to Chelsea again yesterday, and, I was like, listen, there is no right or wrong. You're not going to open a book and tell you exactly how to answer this.
Yeah, how to be a boss perfectly, or like...
every personality is different. You have to treat everyone like, you can address one this way or this way, and, every now and then you got to lose your mind and, like, beat the walls down. But, no, I'm just...
I hadn't seen that yet.
No, I'm just kidding. No, we don't... you just deal with people how you want to be treated, and most everybody kind of understands.
that's what I try to do. I treat people like I'm very blunt. I'm very straightforward in like a nice way. You know, I don't like to beat around the bush. Like, you know, sometimes, like you said, with certain people's moods and attitudes, you got to kind of, sometimes I feel like I'm walking on eggshells sometimes, but, you know, I don't know. I've learned over time, like when I first started, I was like, this is my business. If you don't want to act right, see you, you know, but then you find yourself just like hurting yourself because you're making your life harder, because it's like, okay, well, now I know that it's just me and not me and a guy, and the chances of me finding another guy with this skill level is going to take quite some time. And so I've grown to kind of just be like, hey, look, how can we fix this and move forward? But I said this to Sarah 2 days ago. I feel like detailing it for the business owner, it's great. But I feel like for most people, it's a stepping stone to their next point in life. Like, not many people are coming out of college saying, I want to clean cars for the rest of my life. Sure. Now, if you're the owner of the business, yeah, you can do very well. But like, and we pay our guys between $15 and $20 an hour to start. Sure. So we pay them good. We give them incentives. They get $100 to $200 of tips a week. I mean, they do pretty well. We give them quarterly bonuses. We really try to make it like, hey, you know, this is the spot to work. And I'm a pretty down to earth dude. Like, I talk to my employees like I would talk to anybody else. I'm not like, hey, tuck your shirt in, and you know, I'm pretty cool. And so, but that can also backfire too, because then you become kind of friendly with them, and they think like, well, you're my age, and so like, you know, you turn around and be a boss and say, hey, look, stop complaining and do your job. And they're like, oh, well, you're disrespecting me. You can't talk to me like that. And it's like, I can unfortunately talk to you how I want to talk to you. This is my company. But, you know, it's just, it's really hard to get into that, because it just becomes a pissing match at some point. And you know, we don't want to do that all the time. It's really tough. You know, I just think this industry, it's like hit or miss, you know?
You know what I've found in that, and to not make you the bad guy at enforcing what it is you're trying to get across, is to have the goal of like, okay, we want to be the best detail shop in the world, okay? And in order to do that, these things are going to have to be done in order for us to meet this goal. So if we all say, hey, we want to be the best around, then it's not me telling you what you got to do. It's saying, in order for us to do the things that we said that we were going to do this year, these are the things that have to be done. Okay, so I'm not telling you to do them or not. You decided that that's what we were going to do, so that's what we're going to do. It's my job to make sure it gets done. And so and so now I'm not the bad guy. I'm just the directions. You open the map and you read the directions. It's not like I'm telling you how to do it. It's I'm making sure that it gets done, and it tends to help. And
you do got to kind of have a fine line between, you know, your employees and your friends. Dustin's always trying to hang out, and I'm like, look, bro, if we, you know, I don't want to, you know, this boss, you know, employee relationship is working fine now. You know, so, I know what you mean. You got to separate it.
Yeah,
right? And that's another good thing about Sarah, is like, she's a lot better and level-headed at certain times with dealing with situations. So like issues that occur like that, I'm just like, and the guys all know, like, they go to Sarah. They're going to be late, they text Sarah. If there's an issue, they text Sarah, because they know that her response is going to be different than mine. Right. And not that I'm like a hothead or mean or anything like that. I'm just as laid back, but like they just know like it'll be easier with Sarah. So like they just go through her. So
well,
it's
and you're busy
nice
during the day, like doing the same.
Like we legit changed my number from the business to another number.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I don't have to stop all day and answer phone calls and text messages.
They don't realize. I mean, that's a big deal. You know, the amount of phone calls that still come into this office and the messages that get left just for me. And these are things that my staff can, and my staff does a great job of kind of gatekeeping the phones, because if not, I'd be on the phone all day, every day. And I'm already on it on my personal, but for the ones that know the number. And but I'm telling you, the phones are a big deal. I mean, kudos to you guys for figuring that out and getting you a phone, because it will drive you crazy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
We haven't figured it out. It's my number now, so.
Oh, no.
He's got it figured out. Yeah, he's like, oh, let me give you the office number, but it's really myself. So. But
a lot of people still call my number because they think like, oh, I talk directly with the owner. Like,
oh yeah, it's a big thing.
But in reality, they'd be better off just going to Sarah, and she's just as knowledgeable and can literally break down a ceramic coating, go over aviation, yachts, like everything. Yep. And maybe they just think that like with me, they'll get better answers, but really she's just as knowledgeable. Like she has a whole spiel that, you know, she can talk to anybody, and which is great.
So awesome. So thinking forward here a little bit, goals and dreams. You guys have, you know, I'm sure y'all have big aspirations of what you want to do with the business. Is that something that y'all have on a vision board, or is it just kind of, you know, y'all are just thinking about it, or how do y'all handle those?
So last year I wrote down goals, and I was my friend Dave Elliott with Pearl Nano. He was, you know, he's real big on Grant Cardone, and so I was reading some of his books, and he was like, "Hey, look, write down your goals as if they already happened."
That's right.
And so he had me write down like these 5 things, and literally all of them goals have been accomplished within a year. It was to have several mobile trucks. So I wrote, and it's still on my fridge, I think. I wrote, we have several mobile detailing trucks. We have a shop. We're offering services such as tint, PPF, wheel repair, etc., which we're doing, and that we're making over $500,000 a year in sales. And we
that's fantastic.
Now, if I remember correctly, one more was on that list, because I do pay attention. Didn't you have a luxury vehicle on that list as well?
I do remember that too.
I made a trade-off for the luxury vehicle and bought a third F-150, which is pretty luxury.
That's luxury. That's luxury.
But I can make money on the F-150 versus a luxury car that I'll be paying money to own. So I thought that was a better move for the moment, you know, until we can put ourselves in a better position to comfortably be able to buy a nice luxury car or something like that.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic, and I'm big about that as well. So we have a board that we write down our goals for the year, and then what is it going to take to get those, and we just kind of break it down into bite-sized pieces. And then I always try to reference it back to numbers, because that just makes sense to me. It's very specific. And so if we tie it to a number, then it's measurable, and we can kind of do that. So that's how we handle the goals here.
That's mine too. I have my own like vision board for not just our own stuff, but for myself too. And it has, you know, visuals on those goals, but then it's like broken down into the measurable goal and you know how to get there.
Her vision board's just pictures of me in a bikini. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's great. Hey,
Ron's the same way. He's got pictures of me in a bikini.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Right?
I don't know.
We think alike.
I have seen his cutout of you, I think. Right?
It's on my door.
Look, I opened the door one day, and there it was. It was me staring at me, and I was like, what the hell is this?
It's my motivation, bro. That's what you know. So you guys are clearly killing it. I talk to mobile detailers, and you guys get brought up from time to time. Just, I mean, you know, who they look at and want to, you know, that's their goal. They're chasing your tail ultimately. They want to be like you guys. So being that you have already gotten there, that you guys are killing it, I mean, what could you have on that vision board for upcoming? You know, what are your new goals?
I got something I can think of. So I seen how Joe Kimball recently became the brand ambassador for Auto Geek, and congrats to him. I think that's awesome. We love them. They're solid people.
They're great guys. Great.
Yeah, we like everyone in the industry. I mean, honestly. I would like, you know, a next move, like something like that, like to be like a big sponsor for like a company or something. I think that would be pretty cool. You know, like Justin Lobato, like him with Auto Geek, and you know, like just things like that. No, he's Auto Geek's head trainer.
No, I know. I'm Reflection Artist.
Yeah. And, you know, just like something like that, you know, then I feel like the whole industry's for sure kind of like looking at you. And not that I need anyone to look at me, because I don't know how other people think of me. I just know how I think of us, you know. But it's nice to hear that, like when people are like, oh, you know, people follow you, and like, it means a lot, because I really have grind from the bottom to get.
It validates all the work that you've put in, and then that's recognition on top of that. So it's not a boastful thing. It's like that's the next step, is the recognition for all the hard work and the education and the commitment into our industry that you put. And then it's like here's the recognition, and the Kimballs, you know, receiving that. I thought it was awesome. We actually, we had him on our podcast, I think last week, and so he found out right before our podcast, but he couldn't say anything. So he told us, and I'm like, dude, I can't sit on the secret all weekend. Like, I feel like this is like serious inside information that I don't need to know.
I love the fact that Chris says he doesn't, you know, really care too much about being recognized, but his watch and his clothes and his shoes.
I mean, dude, he's the coolest guy in the room.
What kind of J's are you sporting right now while you're detailing?
The opposite with that. He loves to be recognized.
So I got these like They're Puma Ferrari shoes that I wear at work.
Nice.
That is pimp,
nice.
dude.
See, I'm so uncool, dude. What are they? On
clouds.
On clouds, yeah.
Sarah tends to think that I'm an attention seeker, which I just like nice things. I mean, who doesn't, you know? And if I can afford to buy it, then, you know, it's all right. I got a good deal on that watch, though.
I got a funny story.
Behind it is crazy, though. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Give it to us.
Okay, so I was on, you know, the app Poshmark. They sell like, you know, luxury things and whatnot. I came across it on there for $12,000, and I was like, I can never afford this watch. So I messaged her and I said, hey, if you ever want to like take me home or something, like want this watch off or something,
look at Sarah.
And she found like she thought it was funny, and she goes, well, it's my husband's, you know, I'll let him know and see what he says. And, you know, I'm like, okay, right. And so this guy messages me back like 2 weeks later. He lived in California, and he was like, I'll send you the watch and you pay me back $12,000 over the next year. And I'm like,
you're kidding me.
I'm like, yeah, right. You know, he sent me the watch.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
But I put down a $5,000 deposit through Poshmark. Okay. But like still, it was like a $2,000 watch at one point. Like, you know, so and of course I got it. The button on it was broken, and I'm like, nah, I ain't playing that. And so I sent it away to this company to get fixed. And they're like, it needs to be serviced, which was like $1,500. And I'm like, man, this is getting expensive. She didn't even know. I did this right before we bought our house. And I didn't even think that, like, I can't be making big purchases like that. I was going to surprise her on our honeymoon in Aruba. And
with a watch for himself.
You surprised her.
And so I told her, and she was like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, what?
We almost got a divorce.
Yeah, she was not happy. She was not happy. But I mean, what are the chances that some random stranger sends you a 30-carat diamond watch through the mail who you've never met before? Then he has a Can-Am, like, big thing that has lights and it's all souped up. He wanted like $28,000 for it, and he wanted to send me that. And I'm like, this guy's crazy.
So when you went out...
I've never met him in person.
So when you went out to California, come on, let's be honest. Did they record? Did he just watch, or what was that about?
It's funny. I paid him the money, honest to God, because I was like, my luck, karma will come right back.
Karma,
So I paid him the money, and he was like, hey, if you're ever in Cali, he's like, hit me up, I'll host you. And I was like,
wow, that's cool.
You know, I thought it was a scam 100%. And the crazy thing is, the watch company, they're like, if it's a knockoff, we don't have to return it. We can keep it. And I was like, oh. So I just spent like $10,000 on this watch. And I'm like, you're going to tell me I might not even get it back? Wow. And so I was really nervous. And luckily it ended up being real. That's
amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Well, you deserve it, and so do you for your honeymoon. You deserve that.
You know, what a great,
phenomenal.
What a great housewarming gift.
I just got this Apple Watch. That's about it.
Hey, I got that for her though.
Listen, here's Desmond. We have a comment. I'd love to aspire to become you guys. Hopefully, I can get to meet you at SDC. However, that we can. Okay. So we have a you may know Monster Desmond Gibbs. Anyways, he's a detailed bookie user, and he's always in the group.
Friends on Facebook.
He wants to meet you guys. Are y'all going to make it to SDC?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
We've never been to SEMA yet.
Oh yeah.
I say neither have we together. We haven't.
I've been a few times. It's awesome. Huh? I'm sorry.
All right, if we go, we'll bring you, Ryan.
Oh, thank you. Nice.
No, when we went, Ryan wasn't with us at the time, and then SEMA was canceled 2 years ago, and then we opted out last year.
We were gonna go, and then a lot of companies were opting out, so then we were like, well,
that's exactly what we were planning on going, and then we just kind of opted out. So, and I hate to say I'm glad we did, but
we went to Kentucky, and kind of did something there.
But anyways, hey, listen, always fun. We got to jump off. Always great talking to you guys. Always cool to see y'all on social media. We follow y'all closely. We consider you very good friends, and can't wait to see you, of course, at the SDC.
Where can everybody find you?
Yep. Where can
everybody find you? Like social media, website?
Yeah,
so,
Instagram.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, So Fresh and So Clean Detailer.
Recently started TikTok.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
We're going to have to look at this TikTok.
Yeah. And our website is sofreshsocleandetailers.com.
Okay, so I have one other question. How is it part of the marketing plan, or is this just you kind of going rogue, Chris, to always get the action shots of Sarah at the gym? I'm going to call them action shots.
Action shots. Like,
that's me going rogue. I'm just like I'll do my set and I'll be waiting and I'll see her like you see like a certain shot of like definition or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, like that looks good. And I know that like she likes to see like decent pictures of herself, maybe not on Facebook, but like so I'll post them and just randomly like, hey, we're at the gym,
Yeah.
And then I randomly see them or get screenshots of them from a friend saying, "Oh, look at this one." I'm like, "Oh my god."
I make sure always love those.
We love it. Yeah.
She likes it too secretly.
Yeah, she does. Sure she does.
Thank you guys
great
so much,
talking to y'all.
man.
Thank y'all for taking your time.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Easy.
See ya. They're cool. They're so cool.
I'm gonna be sad when this is over.
You know what's even cooler?
What? The Jessica.
All right. What do we got on Hacker Hack?
All right, man. So let the roasting begin. Today we're actually doing a hack on an actual hack detailer. And so this has to be a joke, right? Because there's no way that any detailers out there power washing the inside of cars. Dustin, you can't have, I mean, that would never happen, would it? I mean, I'm no detailer, but I know this is a big no-no. I mean, you'd have to be an idiot to think
it is
that
a big no-no. This is a huge no-no. But listen, for all transparent purposes, I'm very transparent in my life and businesses. There was a time, a long time ago, that we actually used a pressure washer on some carpets on the inside of a vehicle, and this was like a long time ago.
It's not something you're still doing out there?
No.
So this isn't your video.
So it was not to this level. This is obviously ridiculous, but we did use it to shoot out the paint like idiots, and and like to never got the water out of it. And there we go. That was our story. We were a hack. At one time, I was a hack. I'm so happy that we.
How often does that customer come back?
Oh, I don't know. I hope they never come back.
I'm sure they didn't after that.
So but listen, this is the beauty of Hacker Hack. Like some of them are actually a job if you detailed in the 80s. You did, right?
They did it.
This was in the early 2000s, so let's see, this is probably 2012. 2013. So, we were still doing it in the 13s. How about that?
The aughts, yeah.
Yeah, so listen, but Hacker Hack, you never know. You may end up being a hack or you may end up getting a hack. So keep paying attention to that. We're at the end of this show, and next week we're going to bring over some good friends of ours, some local detailers, Mr. Rob and Brittany.
That's right, Delta Bay Detailing, the Outlaw Detailers. Y'all might have seen them on the podcast a while back, but by far some of my favorite people to talk to.
If their eyes are squinty, just go with it. It's just normal for them,
I was looking to participate. Yeah, I was going to come in like that too, just so I could relate,
Yeah, no. Anyways, guys, y'all can always find us. We're streaming live on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play,
Apple Store. Podcast.
Something like that.
Google
You can
Play
find us
Store.
all over the place. Of course, like always, we're much prettier to watch in
What up, Sean?
person. What's up, Koja? We love his paint gauges, by the way. He's got the best. Kyle.
What up, Kyle? Yeah, this is the part where we go say what's up to everybody that's coming through.
What's up?
Man.
What's up? Now, see, this is cool. This is fun. I could do this all day.
What up, Nate?
We're going to check you off, too.
That dude, have you seen this? Man,
there's my boy. There's my boy. What's up, buddy? Billy Smith.
The superstar, Detail Billy
And then,
Smith.
of course, Joel Lapalm. That's our brother.
Yep. Man, Desmond always. Oh, it's a strip club, dude. You know it. All
right, look, it's so cool to see how many people actually are participating in the show. We appreciate everybody watching us. It's just keeps getting better and better. If you ever have anything you want to say, just drop us a comment, shoot us a message.
Send us your hack videos. If you know some hacks, send them on over.
All right, we're going to jump off here. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.